Hi, my name is Alexandra and I'm gonna be presenting my activity 10. First, we have some images about Europe and Japan, then some of the World War II, and another one about how our world is today. In the next slide, we can see a map showing the socialist regions of Europe and the rest of the world in the period of 1950 to 1991. The ones that were socialist regions are marked in red. First, I'm going to explain the Cold War. The Cold War was a rivalry that developed after the World War II between the United States and the Soviet Union. These two were the major countries, potencies, and they had their allies. The Cold War was waged on political, economic, and propaganda fronts and had only limited recourse to weapons. Then we have some important dates of this event. The first one was on August 10 in 1945 when Korea divided at 38 parallel. Then a little time after, on April 12 of 1945, the President Roosevelt dies due to cerebral hemorrhage. Then on June 26 of the same year, the United Nations Charter is adopted in San Francisco by representatives of 51 countries. Then on July 16, the first atomic bomb was sent, and it affected a lot of people, and this is when the society started noticing about this war called the Cold War. A little after, on August 6th, the Hiroshima bomb, this was the American bomber named Enola Gay, drops an atomic bomb named Little Boy on the Japanese city of Hiroshima. This is like worldly recognized, the Hiroshima bomb. After 2 days after the Hiroshima event, we have the Nagasaki one. The American plane Blockstar drops an atomic bomb named Foldman on the Japanese city of Nagasaki. And another important date is on June 5 in 1947, where the Secretary of George Marshall proposed the Marshall Plan. Now, what does the Cold War term refer to? It is referred as a state of political hostility and military tension between two countries or power blocs, involving propaganda, supervision, threats, economic sanctions, and other measures short of open warfare, as that between the American and Soviet blocs after World War II. So, as we know, this was a political tension between these two countries that were like the leaders of the world on that time, and well, they wanted to like know who was the best by fighting, but not like physically, just with atomic weapons. Then we have the capitalism. Capitalism is an economic system based on the private ownerships of the means of production and their operation for profit. Central characteristics of capitalism include capital accumulation, competitive markets, a price system, private property, and the recognition of property rights, voluntary exchange, and wage labor. This economic system was created by Adam Smith, and well, it's like a lot of countries has this kind of system actually in our current days. And we also have another economic system that is socialism. This is a system that shares economic output equally throughout the population. It values the collective well-being of the community, rather than individuals. The government distributes resources, giving it greater control over its citizens. This this economic system started on the 19th century by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels. Then I made an interview to my grandpa that he is 76 years, and well, he likes history, and this is the questions that I made him and the answers. I asked him what countries were the world leaders during this period. His answer was Soviet Union and the United States. Then, why did countries who were allies during the wars became enemies afterwards? His answer was because all the difference of thinking, their ideas and wishes stopped being the same. The next question was, where did the Cold War take place? He answered me, it wasn't like a physical war. It was an aggressive war gone, but no people involved in it. The countries affected were US, Soviet Union, Europe, and Africa. What opinion did the general public have of the Cold War? His answer was, a lot of people during that time didn't realize what was happening until the Hiroshima atomic bomb. And the last question was, what type of weapons did the two world powers have at their disposal? He answered me that they were a lot of guns and weapons, and they were really damaging. For example, the atomic bombs, tanks, submarines, and rifles. And last but not least, these are my references. And I also want to express my opinion about this topic. I think that this war was really different from the others, and I think these make a lot of changes of how the economic systems worked and how people saw the world, because after all the sad things in World War II, these came to just make things worse. And I think that the two economic systems are they have their own good things and bad things, but I prefer capitalism than socialism, because I think it works better and it's more fair.